Hello, my name is Rudolfo Rivera. My the, my topic is over the individual impact of borrowing a student loan. Who has gone to college? Who has had to take out a student loan for college? Who has read and understood all the fine print of the contracts one has had to sign? If one did take a bite of this fruit, did they take just enough or did they overeat? This thesis topic discusses the personal impact of the one individual borrowing a student loan. However, this has become a national concern, as the amount being borrowed is surpassing the amount being paid back. If one borrows a student loan, there is a plethora of fine print that contains important information one can misread or pass without knowledge. This thesis is aiming to bring out the fine print details and to shine some light on the national current status of the student loans. We are going to look at some issues that student loans are facing when they're student loans today. In their future, problem is going to escalate and growing out of control. As of now, there are more students attending four-year institutions than generations before. The numbers are increasing for the generations to come. The majority of them are attempting to move up the social ladder and achieve the American dream. In fact, their road will be filled with bumps and obstacles. Grants running low and working part-time does nothing but pay for ramen noodles. One last chance to enroll in classes is to talk with a loan officer. For many, it's the last resort to go ahead so to speak. In life, there are steps. We crawl, then we walk, then we run. The list is endless and the list goes on from there as we grow into adulthood. For example, we start from school and to preschool, then elementary, then middle school, then junior high, then finally high school. What is next after the step of high school? There's always the option to join the workforce right after high school. Once you, After that, you can go to a trade school where they'll teach you some trades for a certain line of work that will pay you a decent salary and where you can make a good living. Another option is you go to a community college where they'll teach you many disciplines and you can earn an associate's or a certificate in many disciplines. Or there's the four-year institutions where you can earn your bachelor's, master's, or doctorates. With the college prices on the rise, you surely need help. There are many grants out there, but they run short in demand. Scholarships are available, but they are not easy en route, especially if if one does not qualify. One solution is student loans. And definition of student loan is make a deal with a lender and the government or a private lender institution to allow one to borrow money to pay it back after graduation. Wait, there's a catch. This is not a free loan. There will be interest. Here there are many rules and regulations one must follow for it to be paid back in full. There will also be many rules one must be aware while attending school to keep the loan status and keep keep it in good status, standing, and keep it in good standing. For example, one must have a passing GPA to take out a student loan. When one graduates, there is a grace period after one must start to pay back the loan. One must keep a close eye on the interest rate and payment schedules to make sure they stay in good standing and so nothing suddenly changes without notice. Also, there's consequences of neglecting the student loans. Compounding interest is not a friend. In fact, when one stops paying student loans, it will grow at an exponential rate and the principal will be higher and higher. On a graph, one could see a big picture and be amazed on how much the loan will be higher. As we discussed, we will shine some light on the subject and hope future generations will see the impact of borrowing student loans and take the loan into consideration before taking a student loan out. Currently, Americans owe $1.5 trillion in debt to student loans. This is according to Crystal Company. This is the most current number I could find. Um, what is student debt? Student debt's where you take out a student loan to go to a higher education institution after high school. Why would a person exactly need to take out a student loan for a higher education? Well, the average institution for attending a public four-year college have grown in inflation and adjusted terms for 155% for from 1992 from 2016 attending from this is according from Copeland C. Um, what types of student loans are there out there? Well, there's many times. There's a direct subsidized loans. This is where the government will pay off the student interest while the student is in college. There's the direct unsubsidized loans. This is where the loan will gain interest while the student is in school, and you'll have to pay this interest off while you're after you're out of school. Um, or you could go take out a private loan. This is through a private institution to borrow the money. How does the student take out a loan for attending school? This isn't this is not that difficult. They make it really easy to take them out. You will need to fill out the FAFSA. They will determine if you need a loan. They will see if you're eligible to take out a loan, and they will send you a link to apply where you will apply to for how much you will need. Here you will take a little class to see what's happening on interest on the loan while you're going to school. Why paying back is the most important. After finishing this class, you will just wait for disbursement and you will receive a loan. Why would you need to borrow money for attending college? Well, you will need to save up your work your way through college. It's not like you need just this. It's not like that anymore, where you could just save up for school. With the tuition at an all-time high, grants usually don't cover all the tuition cost, and for attending college, the loan will usually help take care of the room and board and books and other living costs. There's a bunch of red line as to speak when it comes to student loans. I'm talking about when it comes time to pay them back. One has to pay them back no matter what happens. No matter the circumstances. When you fail to pay them back, they go into default. If your loan goes into default, you lose the ability to put your loan into forbearance or deferment. Forbearance is when you have the ability to lower your payments into a manageable point to where you can make your payments back. Deferment is where you take a break from your payments, and while you're taking a break from your payments, your loan is gaining interest. This is not very good, but it gives you a break from the payments. Um, so there's no way of not paying these loans back, not unless your school closes, or if they give you false certifications, or for any unpaid refunds, or if you become permanently disabled, or even if you die, or other than that, you cannot get your loans forgiven unless you're part of a volunteer program or a part of a military or any other public service program. These are the only ways to get out of your student debt. Once you once you open this can, you must finish it. You don't always have to let your student you don't always have to let you borrow student loans. You must meet their satisfactory academic progress. This is saying that you must meet the number of hours required in one discipline before you run out of hours. After that, then they will cut you off. You must also not go over the limit they allow you to go to borrow for your degree. You must also not default on any other student loans that you have currently have. You must also be a citizen or eligible person. You must also be enrolled in the class at least half time. You merely cannot be just a weekend warrior to qualify for a student loan to attend school. When you are capable to, if you are capable of that, you are capable of handling a job. The government doesn't see the need for you to take out a loan if you're only in there less than half time. This is where you will need to talk to a private lender. Their rules are more different than the ones from the government, but they do not offer the same rate that you might hope for. Now you graduated and you finally have to pay the consequences of college. Now you must find a job in your field, and like most students, you've taken out several student loans. Now what to do? You have a timetable to find a job and pay back what you borrowed. The government gives you 6 months to find a job and get adjusted and start your payments. You will have till you have till you have till or you have till you drop to a half time. After the 6 month stint, you are put on a monthly payment plan to pay off your student loan as fast as possible. This deferment, which will give you more time to put your interest will still be occurring from both loan types now, both from subsidized and unsubsidized. The interest rate for each loan is different for each type of loan. I got my numbers from the student aid website that they change every semester, just like the market. And the direct subsidized loan is 4.45, and for the direct unsubsidized loan is 4.45. And private loans usually vary because they are not regulated by the government. Private lenders are usually close to the governments, but they usually run on the higher side because they operate for profit. If you neglect your payments, loans often go into default. Before this point, you usually get many letters and calls to stick your loans into deferment or forbearance. So this happens when before your loans go into default. First, they report you to the credit bureau that your loans are delinquent. And if you did receive a degree and are looking for a job, this could prevent you from getting a job because they will do a credit check and they will look to see that you're not paying on your student loans. And the IRS will withhold your tax refund and apply it to your balance that you owe. This means no extra money at the beginning of the year. All of these consequences do not have a good effect on the loan interest, but it grows longer. the longer you ignored your loan. That doesn't count the fines and penalties you will have owe for not paying. You'll just have a bigger bill. Well, I hope you learned something from my presentation, and I hope you think twice about not paying your student loans if you did take any out. And I hope you learned that interest is not your friend. Thank you for listening. Bye.